Welcome to Chicagoland. Tonight we're here for round number 2 of the NAOR Cup Series Season 6 playoffs. And tonight we head to Chicagoland. The last time we were here, we had a very dramatic finish. We'll see if we can see that again tonight. But first, before we get to tonight's race, first we got DI9 designed to pull qualifying here from Chicagoland. Now these drivers have one lap out on the racetrack. We'll see what different lanes these drivers will take. Will they take the high lane? Will they take the bottom? So we're starting to flood in now. See Matthew to the top of the board. Now it's Giovanni Klein with a 31.039. That is Kyle Top. So we have a lot of drivers flooding the times right now. As you see a few of these drivers running out of the racetrack. There's Kyle Top. This is just completed his lap here on lap number on his only lap of the night of the session.
The top still currently on the board here with 3 minutes left in qualifying. The other drivers here on the racetrack right now. Nathan Lamb on there right in the top side here in 1-2.
Oh, you might get the wall there, and it looks like he got the wall. Maybe that might be a contact penalty. If that's going to be a contact, it will knock his invalidate his lap. So we'll see how that plays out. Another driver out on the racetrack is Matthew O'Brien coming off turn 4 to complete his out lap. But Nathan Lamb to the line there. It'll be a 31.153, and that will not count. So he did get the wall there. Another driver is setting a lap as well. Jonathan Parker out on the racetrack completing his lap, but Matthew O'Brien out in first, just a little bit out in front of him. Matthew O'Brien and Jonathan Parker, 2 in the top 6 fastest in practice there, so we'll see where they will go. Jonathan Parker down the back straightaway right now into turn number 3 and 4 on his lap. He's going to run to the top lane. I've heard from some of these drivers, the outside lane, that bump up at the top lane will kind of affect that race car, but Matthew O'Brien, 7.84. He'll go to the top of the board, and now here comes Jonathan Parker, 1.39. He will not go to the top. He's actually a little bit slower. Jonathan Parker goes into 8.
This is the mid-pack in qualifying right there for Jonathan Parker.
Actually, Nathan Lamon's lap did count. He is 11th, but there's 2 drivers left to set a lap time. It's Sean Osborne and Zach Meredith. Zach Meredith on the racetrack right now. Here with 1 minute and 40 seconds left, and John Osborne will be the last driver to go. He is not on the racetrack just yet, but Meredith down the back straightaway. Into turn number 3 and 4. He'll run to the bottom of the racetrack. Try and wrap that white line, but he'll slide up the racetrack. Right up to the outside wall. He was going to cut the apron as much as possible, try to short the distance. Zachary Meredith to the line. It'll be 30.830. It will be to P2 for Zachary Meredith. Not enough to take the pole away. Now 1 driver left to qualify. It is John Osborne. Did not set a lap in practice. Looks like he got the wall a little bit off of turn 4 there to start his lap. We'll see what he can do here on his only lap of qualifying. He's going to go down to the bottom in 1 and 2. See if they can get him a solid top 10 starting position. Off of turn number 2, now down the back straightaway. He's plenty of space to the wall, kind of off exit. Down through turn 3 and 4. Osborne getting all the bottom of the racetrack, so it looks like the bottom of the racetrack seems to be the most dominant so far. We'll see how that top lane kind of comes in later in the race tonight, but John Osborne to the line to complete his lap. It will be a 112. He'll go jump to P9, so a solid top 10 starting spot for John Osborne. But everyone has set their qualifying lap, and that means Matthew O'Brien will be on the pole with a 30.784, and we'll take our DI9 Designs Pole Award winner. Just wrap up qualifying here, just a couple of seconds, but Matthew O'Brien, our DI9 Designs Pole Award winner here tonight. First one of the season, as this is his 2nd race in the NAOR Cup Series. You saw him back last week at New Hampshire, able to get a solid 3rd place run last week. Tonight also round 2 of the playoffs. So we've seen last week with New Hampshire, it was a short track. Now we move to a 1.5 mile racetrack here, and definitely an older one. We have not seen Chicagoland on the schedule in the real life NASCAR since 2019. But we will see it next year, so we kind of see a nice fresh update for Chicagoland hopefully soon.
Yeah, most likely.
These drivers got to tackle the old pavement of Chicagoland. We saw last season here for the Inter Cup Series, it was a very dramatic finish. 4 drivers all running out of fuel at the line. We had a 1,000th photo finish for Jonathan Parker to take the win. We'll see if he can back up his Chicagoland win. But tonight he's gonna have a little bit more focus of tonight, because last season was a regular season race, and tonight is a playoff race. So he's gonna focus on trying to keep his points advantage over the top 8. Jonathan Parker leads the points over 35 of Marquez Weather hitting tonight, as he is currently our points leader. Another dominant performance last week at New Hampshire. As he got a solid second place run, but with Gabriel Dahari able to dominate that race and win that one as well. So we'll see how those 2 drivers, how they will kind of shake it up through tonight. But Jonathan Parker will try and just lock himself in to the round of 8 at the end of tonight. Before we get to the rest of our playoff kind of feel, let's take a look at our Coulter's Cards starting lineup here tonight from Chicagoland. As on pole, our D9 Designs Pole Award winner, Matthew J. O'Brien. He'll start on pole with a 30.784. Zach Meredith, he'll start second tonight with a 30.829 in the 17 machine. Kyle Todd, he'll start third in the 3 machine with a 30.998. Johnny Klein will start fourth tonight in that 5 machine. 22 of Josh Harmon, he'll start fifth and round out our top 5. Starting sixth will be the 72 of Gabriel Dahari. Starting seventh will be the 24 of Cole Snyder, and Chase McGuire on the 9 machine. He'll start 8th tonight. John Osborne, we saw him last driver to set his lap time. He'll start 9th tonight in that 81 machine. And Jonathan Parker running our top 10 in the 48 machine. He'll start at 10. The 11th position will be the 26 of Jonathan W. Evans. He'll start tonight in his debut start. Starting 12th will be the 12 of Josh Adams. The 14 of Nathan Lamont. He'll start 13th tonight. Steve Maggio on the 51 machine. He'll start 14th. And rounding at the top 15 will be the 20 machine of Jack A. Clements. Starting 16th tonight will be the 1 machine of Hunter Sr. And Dylan Chappell will start 17th. And alongside him will be the 2 of Donnie Kite. 19th tonight will be the 71 of Mike Campbell, and the 00 of Jonathan Jurgens around at the top 20, and are running our 21 car field here tonight will be the 15 of Mark Kissler. A lot of these drivers, just got a few of these drivers debut starts here tonight. Haven't really seen many starts from them this season, but they're going to look out and try and get that race win tonight. Like in every race, we also got to see a lot of these playoff drivers going to be looking to try and just capitalize on their points. So get a nice points day and try and settle in and get a solid buffer over for next week, and just trying to make that round of 8 that will start in 2 weeks' time at Talladega. So round 2 will definitely be an interesting one. Talladega, Legacy, Atlanta, in Kansas. So that will definitely be fun to watch round 2. It can shake up a lot, but tonight we head to Chicagoland, and next week we'll head to the Gateway Road Course. Completely 3 different types of racetracks here in the round, the first round, the round of 12. New Hampshire short track tonight, Chicagoland a 1.5 miles, and then a road course next week. So 3 different types of tracks. We'll see who can master it and who will be the 4 out tonight. Who will be the 4 out next week is currently hitting in tonight. Hunter Peach -4 of the cut line, and -7 Mike Campbell in 10th. Giovanni Klein farther back there, as he is 12 points back from Mike Campbell. Nick Apiak -2 for Giovanni Klein there. So those 4 are looking to try and point their way in, try to gain some points here tonight to head into the final race of the round of 12 next week. But tonight we have 128 laps here from Chicagoland to see who will take the win and maybe even lock themselves in the round of 8. The pace car is off into the Geico Research. So green flags in the air. We're underway from Chicagoland. So Brian clearly clear out in the lead by a couple car lengths already, but they are 3 wide for third as everyone fanning out through turn 1, trying to get to the high lane. Some drivers trying to get in the middle, and some trying to get to the bottom. Then you're going to start to see the speed getting up there. Now these drivers getting up to speed. You're starting to see some dirty air starting to play a factor. We have a caution out of the racetrack already. Get a car around off of turn number 4. It's going to be the 5 machine, the 51 of Steven Maggio. Going on off turn 4, so it looks like a single
right
car.
front damage there.
Yeah, first caution of the night quickly coming out here. Let's take a look at what happened here with Steven Maggio. Down in the turn number 3, it looked like maybe this bump may have claimed him a little bit. Goes over the bump, yeah, gets upsets the race car, gets loose, overcorrects into the outside wall, heavy damage. Luckily, the only one involved there, so no one else being involved there. Bump already claiming a victim in the middle of 3 and 4. So these cars just love to bottom out over those bumps, and it just really makes it really hard to keep control of it.
Luckily, no one else involved in that one. So, kind of just a single-car incident, like you said there, with the bump, and not expecting anyone to come down pit lane, really. Only went pretty much one lap there, green, but some 3-ride moves already. We saw these guys kind of be pretty aggressive on the start of this one, maybe just trying to get as much as they can on the start and try to get as much passing on with how bunched up they are on the starts, because this is really the best opportunity to make up some positions here when you're all bunched up on these restarts and the initial start as well.
Yeah, these restarts are very crazy. We see it in real life as well. These drivers want to get that track position, knowing dirty air is a very big factor. It's very hard to pass, especially through the longer runs. Eventually, those tires will start to play a factor, but just dirty air just makes it so much harder to get a pass done. We've seen that happen multiple times this season. As we saw the driver in second just start to shrug a little bit behind the lead car and have to try and search for clean air. Chicagoland might be a little bit different tonight, as you do have multiple different lanes to work with. You kind of use the top and the bottom of the racetrack here at Chicagoland. So we'll see how that plays out, but dirty air track position will be a very big important. And we're going to see a big importance. And we're going to see these drivers really fight for all their track position right at the very start of these restarts. It could make a pretty chaotic race on these restarts.
I'm going to 1 the green this time by.
Once reads, the pace car lights will go off as we're wrapping up our first Jones Payton Design's caution of the night. So we have Matthew O'Brien in, Kyle Taub here on the front row, Giovanni Klein in, Zach Meredith will line up on the second row. So we saw a very big 3-wide move happening for that top 5 spot early on. You see that these drivers will be just as aggressive here on this restart. Still a long race here tonight. We'll start to see some tire wear start to play a factor, as you see every week. Track temp has gone down from what it was in practice. Practice was about 118 degrees, and now it's down to 110. So we have a little bit of cloud cover right now. So we just got a little bit more grip out there on the racetrack. But the race car will take that hard left turn onto pit road and back to the Geico research zone. Green flag, a back in the air, really good launch from the inside as the outside lane stacking up already. Kyle Top not a good launch at all on the bottom. And Dahari is already cleared to the top 3, a single file, but now he's going to go down on the bottom into turn number 1. Goes side by side with Klein through the center of 1 and 2. We'll see if Klein, though, on the outside is going to have enough of a run to get side by side. He's going to stay side by side. That's going to allow O'Brien to pull away by a couple car lengths. Everyone else kind of settling into the top 10 or so. Right now, Klein working that outside lane. Now 3-4. These drivers have to be careful going over that bump. You saw Klein get a little bit upset there, but he keeps the momentum on the top lane. He'll clear for second. Giovanni Klein quickly to stay on the top lane. No one else really up there so far. There is a few drivers in the back. There are actually 3 wides to the back of the back right now. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer just behind Nathan Lamont, Donnie Kite, and Jonathan Evans. They were all 3 wide for just outside that top 10. As Evans on the bottom, now they double file it back out as they were 3 wide there for a moment. Down the back straightaway. And Evans fighting on the bottom, Lamont on the top lane, and Jurgensmeyer just able to get the runs off the corner for now, and just able to try and clear Evans down the back straightaway. And they both will. Now just a few cars up in front of them. They are battling up there for that, around just outside the top 5. Kyle Taub trying to hold off Zach Meredith right now. Oh, but Kyle Top really loose through 3 and 4. He's gonna hold on to it. Oh, but the collect. He's gonna lose it and collect. Josh Arnold.
Stay green for now.
Wall. As Thomas stopped the racetrack, these do stay green. It looks like Kyle Top lost it off the exit of turn 4. He collected Josh Arnold. So those two drivers, I kind of hope they don't have too big damage. Actually, Josh Arnold does have a broken left front suspension, so that will be his night over. Really unfortunate for Josh Arnold in the playoffs. That's going to be a very big, this is going to hurt Josh Arnold big time. And there's the yellow. And so we have a caution out of the racetrack.
Ronnie Kite slow on the front straightaway. Absolute chaos here in the first 10 laps of this one.
Yeah, Josh Arnold entered tonight only 3 points above the cut line. And now he's going to be out of tonight's race. As you see, there's the yellow there. Jack and Clemens in. Looks like Donnie Kite getting together off turn 4.
I'm a weird incident. Kite kind of checked up, I think, on the exit. Not
kind of what we saw with what we just saw with Kyle Top.
He just got loose and clipped the apron, yeah.
Slid through the corner and just really slow off the corner, just trying to save it. And Jack and Clemens nowhere to go. Same with Hunter Senior.
Doesn't look like anyone got too badly damaged there, but absolute chaos. I mean, we saw what 4 or 5 cars kind of wrecking there. In that little 5-lap kind of shootout there that we had under green. So
these drivers,
wow,
these drivers really struggling with their grip out on the racetrack right now. Tonight is just we just have a really hot racetrack. Kind of like the opposite of last week. Last week had a really hot racetrack. They're kind of just sliding around, but it was sliding tight. It didn't really loose at all. It was just didn't have the lack of grip to just turn the race car. But this week, you have the lack of grip to get the rear tires turning, and the rear tires go, and you just spin the rear of the race car out. So drivers look like they're going to be lack of grip for just kind of lacking right now, and these drivers are going to try and have to just hold on to the race car, just try to save those rear tires tonight. That seems to be the big factor. Still 10 laps into this one. I don't think we're really going to see any pit stops just yet. As fuel tonight, as the usual, 25%, 75% fuel. Drivers, I think we'll probably have about 40 to 50 laps of fuel, on how difference it is typically on a normal mile and a half. As Kansas, kind of a very similar racetrack here to Chicagoland. Looks pretty similar in size, kind of drives similar. The top lane and the bottom lane is kind of working it just evenly. At Kansas, you can probably get around 60 to 65 laps on a full tank of fuel. So these drivers are probably going to be looking around about 40 laps on fuel here tonight. So 40 to 50 laps on fuel. So I don't think we're going to see any fuel strategy just yet. If you see fuel strategy, we could see it come down kind of last season's dramatic finish. Nice car, gonna take that hard left turn onto pit road. Once again, it'll be O'Brien and Klein on the front row. Pace car is off, back into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. A good launch for O'Brien down on the bottom of the racetrack. Just side by side for second between Dehari and Klein. See Dehari can clear quickly on Klein here through turn 1 and 2. Now Klein, and through that little run we had there, he was really one of the main drivers to be ripping that outside wall, just staying to the top lane of the racetrack. So see how long you stay up there. Now it could really hurt those tires, but the outside typically kind of heats up the front tires a little bit more, so that could be an advantage for Klein. Maybe it might make him a little bit less loose throughout the run. So he goes right around the outside of Gabe Hari as they are 3 wide, just outside the top 5. As Josh Adams on the top of Chase McGuire as there's double file behind between Jurgensmeyer and Meredith. But now Giovanni Klein actually going for the race lead, or using the outside lane in the 1 and 2. Goes side by side down the back straightaway. Ends at turn number 3. O'Brien down on the bottom. Klein up on the top lane. They stay side by side through 3 and 4. Klein making that outside lane work. Wants to just try and get the lead and get clean air, looks like, on the top lane. He's going to clear O'Brien for the lead down the front straightaway. And O'Brien, we'll see how aggressive he is to try and get this lead back. He looks like he's going to go back to the bottom of the racetrack to try and save a little bit of his tires, but Klein is staying on the top lane. And it allows for O'Brien to kind of get to the inside through the corner, but Klein will rock it down the back straightaway, as now it's Cole Steiner also doing the same. Cole Steiner ripping the outside wall, just like Giovanni Klein. He's going around Gabe Hari trying to take that 3rd place spot away.
Right now on the top side there, trying to keep out in front, but here comes Cole Steiner now on the top side of O'Brien, as O'Brien slots himself down in the 3rd place. And so here comes Snyder now looking for the right lead here in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, Snyder made the middle lane really work there, stay between kind of the air of O'Brien and Klein. As Klein was up on the outside wall, he used the middle lane, which had some clean air. They were able to get around O'Brien. Now he's trying to use the middle, trying to stay a little bit lower than Klein here, trying to get some clean air. Be able to make it work. They're trying to pull alongside, side by side through 1 and 2. Not able to do it. They're going to single file back out. Snyder trying to work the bottom, able to make it. He's making it work pretty well right now. Staying alongside Klein through the center of the corner, but just can't get the runs off for Klein. Just much better on the outside lean. Top 3 staying the same as now. O'Brien all the way back of Cole Steiner here, pushing him down into turn number 1. Looking like no rush to try and get by him right now. Just O'Brien seems to be kind of taking this time on the bottom. A few guys behind him just trying to get to the outside lane. As Jonathan Parker trying to block Zach and Meredith from going forward. As Gabe Hari and Chase McGuire almost making a little bit of contact there, just for that top 5 spot. And Hari goes to the inside lane. There's side by side for that position. Single file down the back straightaway as the outside lane just seems to have to get the really good run off the corner to fight off any move on the bottom for now. We'll see how that starts to play out once we start to see some tire wear. These drivers run to the top, maybe their tires will start to kind of fall off a little bit. Then O'Brien, though, really good run on the bottom, stays alongside Snyder through 1 and 2. He's going to go down to the back straightaway, down to the inside of 3 and 4 here. Go all the way down to that white line. He's going to wrap the white line on the bottom of the racetrack. Cole Steiner, he's going to stick behind Giovanni Klein on the top lane. To get the run off the corner. Works out for now. He still stays clear for second.
I'm doing a great job right now, still on top. But you gotta wonder, will that burn up Klein's tires a lot more compared to Snyder on the bottom?
Also, one car having a big moment off of turn 2 there. It was Chase McGuire. He just fell back from 6th, had a big moment off turn 2. Fell all the way back behind Jurgensmeyer. Now Jonathan Evans is going to the apron here, trying to get by him here through 1 and 2. So Chase McGuire, big moment off turn 2. Another driver, we're starting to see loose out on the racetrack. But now Cole Steiner working the bottom. I think those tires starting to fade for the outside lane of Giovanni Klein. Is starting to see him get a little bit loose up on the top lane. Now Snyder on the bottom, making it work, staying alongside here. He should have an opportunity to maybe try and clear through 1 and 2. He's going to stay side by side here off the floor. Klein with a good run. Just try and stay side by side. Steiner going to go up the racetrack a little bit, trying to side draft, maybe try and get to the outside of Klein. Not gonna be able to do it. Klein just blocking every opportunity he has to go to the outside lane. The Steiner are working the inside very well, as now Klein looking a little bit wobbly on the top lane. Saw a big wiggle from the rear end of the race car there off of turn number 2. Klein just doing enough just to hold on right now. They stay side by side. Steiner very loose on the bottom. Really big save there.
Here's O'Brien.
Matthew O'Brien going down to the inside lane as he gets by Snyder, going for the lead on Klein here through 1 and 2.
He's got second though. There's a little slide. Ooh, and then Klein got on the outside wall for turn 2. Big side drop there on turn 3. Slide drop here possibly off of 4.
He's gonna be able to do it. Klein just lacking the grip now the top lane. Matthew O'Brien goes to the race lead. As now Cole Steiner, he's going to have to try and find his way by Giovanni Klein for second. Matthew O'Brien goes back to the bottom. Looks like he's really saving his tires. The driver's also fighting for a stage win as well. 8 laps, this time by will be 8 laps to go for the end of stage 1. Big battle back there for second as now Meredith fighting to the inside of Cole Snyder. This is allowing O'Brien to pull away, but they are 3 wide now. Jonathan Parker and Gabriel Dahari trying to make their mark. They're trying to make their march through the field as they're trying to get by Giovanni Klein, as Klein is falling all the way back to 5th now. He's just been on the top lane the whole race long so far, and now he's starting to kind of pay for being up there as those tires really not liking it. He's starting to fall off big time as he's falling back to from the lead back to 5th. Now Jonathan Parker trying to find his way by now on the bottom.
There goes Dahari to the top side. Trying to get around Meredith here for 3rd. Off of turn 2, a little bit loose these drivers are feeling. Dahari gets up to 3rd place, and tires was definitely starting to wear out here as we're later in the run. It's the longest green flag run we've had all night easily by far. And we're coming up to the end of stage 1 as well, here on the end of lap 32.
These drivers fighting for some extra stage points, knowing some of these drivers as well on close to that cut line. They're trying to get every point they can. See Jonathan Parker will slot up in front of Giovanni Klein as Klein is just trying to hold on. He's trying to pick up an extra stage point or so. And one of those drivers in the playoffs, has those red banners and the spoilers on their race cars. Trying to find out, it's the first time we've really seen him on the bottom tonight. And he's starting to struggle, look like he's a little tight. He's gonna slide away up the racetrack. He falls behind Josh Adams. Now Evans trying to get by Jurgensmeyer. Trying to push Klein through in 3. Evans working the outside lane on turn 3 and 4. He's going to get by the 0-0 Jonathan Jurgensmeyer off through the trial. So go back down to the bottom through 1 and 2, trying to get to the inside of Klein, coming there off of turn number 2. Not going to be able to stay alongside, but single file through the top 10 now, pretty much the entire field. So this time by will be 2 laps to go here in stage number 1. And now Gabriel Dahari up to 2nd. We saw him last week in New Hampshire, and we see him pretty much in every race he's competed in so far this season. He falls back a little bit on the start. Not really great track position, but he's very great at saving his tires. Very good long run pace. So Gabriel Dahari looking to try and use his tire saving to his advantage once again. He's trying to chase down Matthew O'Brien here, but I don't think he's going to have enough opportunity to to get him here at the end of stage number 1. A few battles behind as Josh Adams goes by Chase McGuire, and now Jonathan Parker trying to work to the inside of Zachary Meredith for that 4th place spot. But final lap here for stage number 1. Stay single file to the top 5. Through turn number 3 and 4 for the final time here in stage number 1. Matthew O'Brien has a few car length lead. He's going to be able to hold off Gable Hari. So Matthew O'Brien, he'll take P number 1 and win stage 1. So O'Brien wins stage number 1. Next stage will be the halfway point of this race on lap number 64. Hari is hunting down that back bumper of that 43 machine of O'Brien as Hari has been closing the gap a little bit, trying to break through that dirty air. He's also got Cole Snyder right behind him looking strong.
There goes Hari to the inside, has some clean air, gonna drift up the racetrack a little bit, but he has some momentum here with those fresher tires, just saving his tires a little bit better than everyone else, like you mentioned. I think he's just able to really drive out on the entry a lot harder than Matthew O'Brien in front.
Oh, but Hari gets to the wall a little bit off of turn 4. He's trying to close that gap down. Now, if he struggles to pass here, could allow Cole Snyder an opportunity to maybe try and take a 2 for 1. We'll see how that plays out for Cole Snyder, but Hari using the outside lanes, and be careful, don't want to overheat your tires up there as he's hitting the wall once again. But O'Brien's starting to see that. He's trying to block the outside lane. He's going to give Hari the bottom here through 3 and 4. He'll go side by side for the lead. Hari on the bottom. Tire is starting to show a little bit. For Hari, he'll slot him in front off of turn 4. And Hari will clear to the lead here on lap number 35. He'll complete lap number 35 as Hari now leads into turn number 1. Cole Snyder trying to take that 2nd place spot away. Cole Snyder has to fight his way by O'Brien now as Gable Hari, the race leader.
As we'll see when pit stops happen up here in a moment. I think they'll happen probably in the next around laps 60 or so, maybe. I would guess. So it's still quite a bit away, around 23 laps, but I think it would probably be a 1-2 stop race. Very close on that one stopper. Especially for those early cautions that we had as well.
The drivers looking like their fuel's probably going to be around anywhere 45 to 50 laps, so we'll start to see pit stops probably here in the next 10 or so laps. So it'll be a 2-stop race to the finish.
Giovanni Klein is falling back big time here, gonna be down to 9th place here in a moment. Actually, 8th, excuse me.
That Klein starting to fall back as he's now getting passed by Jonathan Evans on the bottom. But he's fighting back on the high lane still, able to stay side by side. This is their only battle in the top 10 right now. Evans not able to make the inside lane work as well as he'd hoped. Jonathan Parker trying to find his way by Meredith. He's been working on Meredith for the past like 10, 15 laps here. Just can't find the way by just yet. Parker now working the bottom of Meredith through 3 and 4, not able to stay alongside off the exit of the corner. Right now, we're starting to see, we saw some tire wear starting to play a factor. David Hari able to get up in front of O'Brien. You see those tires really going to work with David Hari, but O'Brien has been able to stay in touch a little bit. We didn't really see that last week, as once Hari had a lead, just pulled away and from the rest of the field. So they're going to see that play out, but these drivers, they don't want to lose too much time right now either, because they'll pit stop. So it's 10 laps. So if they're kind of close, they can kind of make up that gap and try and jump each other on pit road. That's what undercuts. So you don't want to spend too much time battling here, especially before pit stops, and you'll lose all your time before you even get a chance to get down pit road and try to make some time that way. But they're going to be 3 wide for third now as Meredith on the top lane, able to get by Snyder, and Parker now on the bottom, going to make it work on the inside. He might be able to try and clear Snyder here through 3, sort of drive it in, maybe try and do a slide job off of turn number 4. Is he able to do it? Yes, he will, but Josh Adams able to take it as well. It looks like Cole Snyder a little bit loose to the center of 3 and 4 with that bump, and now Jonathan Evans going to the top lane trying to get by him, but meanwhile up in front of them it is Gabriel Hari and Matthew O'Brien for the race lead, as O'Brien works the outside lane, stays alongside Hari now. So now O'Brien to the outside, using the outside lane to his advantage, keeping the momentum up there. He should go to the lead into turn number 3. Not able to clear yet, but Hari will fight back on the bottom. O'Brien with a good run off turn 4.
Clear. Wow.
So O'Brien back to the race lead. Looks like he kind of cooled down his tires a little bit, sitting behind Hari. Will take the race lead back. Now we'll see Hari how well he can fight. But he's using the bottom of the racetrack, and O'Brien the last few laps has been just staying to the top lane. We'll see how that plays out as well, but keep an eye also on Jonathan Evans. He's worked his way up to 6. He started back out just outside the top 10 tonight. He's been working his way up these past few laps. The last tail end of this run. Probably one of her biggest movers of the night. Single layer most positions gained of the night are top 5 biggest moves before we head to pit stops here. So just Jonathan Jernsmeyer up 12, and Marcus Weather, Josh Adams. So Adams up 3, Marcus Weather up 11. So really good nights for Marcus Weather and Jonathan Jernsmeyer right now. They're both worked their way back from the tail end of the field. There are 45 laps here into this one, so these drivers looking now to probably see pit stops here in the next 5 to 10 laps. They probably save a little bit of fuel into the yellows. They go probably a couple of laps longer than the max expected fuel tank. There's a really heated battle there for that 3rd place spot between Meredith, Parker, Adams, and Evans, as Hari is trying to fight back to get to O'Brien for the lead. So Hari now actually gets to the inside lane. They're side by side for the first 3 rows, but just the first row a little bit separated from the rest of the other 2. But Hari fighting back on the bottom as it looks like O'Brien starting to struggle on the outside lane a little bit. Down into turn number 1. Hari going to drive it in deep and try and stay side by side. Now these drivers fighting for the race lead. They sorted out behind. That'll allow them to catch up a little bit before these pit stop cycles happen. So I see pit stops happening already as Jace McGuire saying he's over the radio this time by. McGuire already back in 14th, but now Hari drives it into 3 and 4. He will clear for the race lead, so Hari takes the lead back in front of Matthew O'Brien. But they are a heated battle, 4-way battle for 3rd as Parker on the bottom. He's got Meredith on the outside, and he's getting pushed by Adams, and now Parker on the bottom getting pushed by Evans through turn number 1. All these drivers fighting as hard as they can for that 3rd place spot. It's only losing them time to those top 2. No, wouldn't be shocked. One of these drivers, so a few of these drivers might start to peel off. See these drivers when they pit, they'll see it pop up on the right side of the screen there. You see Chase McGuire's down pit road. It looks like Jonathan Parker on the bottom. They're almost 3 wide for 4th there as Evans on the bottom, but Meredith with a really good run off turn 4. He's going to drive it down to the apron, going to try and clear up in front of Parker into turn before he gets into 1. Not going to be able to do it, so Meredith will stand at the bottom. He's going to clear through the center. Can he pull the slider off of turn number 2? Yes, he will. As Meredith, he will clear for that 3rd place spot, but he's getting a little bit loose, and Parker's going to the top. Evans goes to the bottom, 3 wide for that spot, and Jonathan Evans takes the 3rd place spot away.
That was, and it's still 3 wide behind.
Adams still clear up in front of Parker as now Meredith Hill come down pit road and take his first pit stop of the night. But Jonathan Evans able to take advantage of all that battling there, and he now takes that 3rd place spot away. He's going to try and set his sights on Matthew O'Brien up for that 2nd place spot. Parker trying to fight back on the bottom of Josh Adams here, as Adams get cleared by Parker, but Jonathan Evans gets loose off of turn number 2. Big moment off of turn number 2 there. He'll hold on to it. He'll still hold on to third, but it won't be shocked. He'll come down this lap or next lap as those tires definitely already going to be overheated. Don't want to be up that for too much longer as Matthew O'Brien, he'll pit from second. So Evans will cycle up to second as Matthew O'Brien comes down pit road from that second place spot. Gap to the race leader into second is about 2 seconds back from Dahari and Evans. We'll see who takes kind of the undercut or overcut strategy. Now Dahari, he'll pit from the race lead. So now Jonathan Evans will cycle to the lead. It's also Josh Adams goes down pit road. So Jonathan Parker, Jonathan Evans looking like they're going to go for a little bit of the overcut strategy here. As Jonathan Parker, he'll come down pit road for the second place spot now. So a lot of these drivers coming down pit road here. So Parker clear from second as Jack Clemens, he moves up to second now as a lot of the mid pack, kind of the middle of the pack. So from Evans back to about 10th is all pitted now. So now Jack and Clemens and Mark Kissler, they're battling for second. Currently on the racetrack. Sean Barker, you see him coming off a pit road here. David Hari and Matthew O'Brien goes by as Matthew O'Brien just sets the fastest lap of the race. So chase back down. David Hari, but Jonathan Evans, he comes down for the race lead. So now it's Jackie Clemens and Mark Kissler, they're battling for the race lead. As Kissler, he'll come down pit road. Clemens will stay on the racetrack. Triangle long a little bit. How much longer Clemens can go out there on the racetrack. So everyone will have to make a 2-stop race, no doubt. So let's see. We talked about that last year. We can go about 10 laps longer than the rest of these guys, the rest of these drivers out on the racetrack. Jonathan Osborne also staying out there. Where Jonathan Evans, where he cycle out as he comes off pit road, a little bit farther behind Josh Adams. We're going to caution out of the racetrack, and that is going to shake up everything. As Giovanni Klein off turn number 2 going around, and that just allows Jackie Clemens, John Osborne, as Kissler just came down pit road, they're going to be able to trap the few of the lap down here. So now everything gets shaken up as let's take a look at what happened. Giovanni Klein looked like he went around off of turn number 2 there.
There's another car involved, it looks like. Off of 2, yeah. So it was
Hunter Senior, it looked like, yeah, Hunter Senior over to go as Klein got hit, and Chase McGuire also gets hit. But a dilemma here is that Mark Kissler just came off of pit road. Now, was he able to get tires and fuel? He did get full service. So Mark Kissler, he did get full service. Sets the yellow came out. Kissler is scored 1 lap down. So Kissler is scored 1 lap down in 5th right now. Maggio is on the lead lap, but he's behind all the other drivers who just pitted. So these drivers don't have an opportunity to trap everyone a lap down. So it looks like everyone will get the wave around. Mark Kissler, though, able to catapult himself now as he will be on the fresh tires. Didn't even get a chance as the Gale was out when he was on pit road. So Mark Kissler, he will be the race leader. Well, he will be the leader of these drivers that are on fresh tires. Actually, Dahari will get the lucky dog. So Kissler was able to get the free pass as he was still on pit road. But he will pretty much be the leader of everyone else that was on tires. A really good strategy playing out there for Mark Kissler, Jackie Clemens and John Osborne. As actually Maggio and Kissler pitted right before that yellow happened, but Clemens and Osborne staying out of the racetrack. they will take the race lead. So now they have the clean air out in front. Now they've been struggling towards the back of the field a little bit, kind of just outside that top 10 in dirty air. So that will allow them to get some clean air, but also now that allows them to maybe try and steal the stage win, because we're only restart. We're only just about 5 laps away from the end of stage 2. Now the pace car, everyone will pass the pace car there, so we're going to see all the wave arounds happening there. Nathan Lima, Mike Campbell, Donnie Kite, Zach Amir, Hunter Sr., Dylan Chapel, Cole Steiner, John Jurgens, Stephen Maggio, Matthew O'Brien, Josh Adams, Jonathan Evans, Jonathan Parker, all getting the wave around. So pretty much, I mean, it would have been easier to name the drivers who aren't getting the wave around, which is Jack A. Clements and John Osborne. So someone else taking the wave around here, except for Gabe Hart. Gabe Hart, he did get the free pass, so he was able to actually pit again if he really wanted to. These drivers, you have to catch back up to the field here. Kyle Topp looks like he'll line up third. So Kyle Topp, he'll actually line up third. So a really good strategy there for him, able to work out. He was actually same with him and Stephen Maggio. They were behind the field, but they're still only lap. Pace car's off as everyone just catch up to the field and line up on the inside lane, but green flag back in the air. There are 6 laps to go here in stage number 2. The inside lane with a good launch to Jack A. Clements, and only 2 drivers line up on the top lane as everyone else took the wave around there. So Clements now with the lead in the clean air as everyone else on the fresher tires going to try and fight through the rest of these rest of the drivers who just came down pit road. So Mark Jeswell able to get a really helped with track position there. He's trying to work from the inside of John Osborne. And Steve Maggio trying to go around the outside 3 wide, not going to be able to do it. We'll see who will be able to win stage 2. Right now, Clements holds the lead, but Gabriel Hari was our race leader. Was the leader when he pitted. Was the race leader before the pit stop cycles happened. He's trying to fight his way by Kyle Topp for second, but Kissweather fighting on the bottom of John Osborne. It looks like Osborne putting up a really good fight right now, trying to stay into this top 5. That's 4 laps to go here in stage number 2. There is no yellow, there is no stage caution, so drivers will keep racing, so they gotta fight for track position, also trying to save their tires here as well. With a really heated battle for second is Dahari fighting on the bottom of Kyle Topp. Staying side by side through 3 and 4. This is allowing Jack A. Clements to get a little bit of clean air, a little bit of distance from the rest of the field. As Marcus is trying to fight back this now as well. Todd got the wall that'll maybe allow them to take it 3 wide there for a moment, but it's not going to happen as Dahari will clear before that has an opportunity to form up there. Here's O'Brien trying to work his way through now.
Clements most likely going to win this stage here. He can hang on for another few laps. But these drivers behind trying to chase him down here. 2 laps to go in stage 2. And still battling for second. Here comes Kyle Topp on the top side, ripping the outside wall. Trying to get second place back, and not quite enough momentum here off of turn number 2.
He'll take second. He's still holding on the second, but he's trying to fight off Kyle Topp and Mark Kissweather, even Matthew O'Brien. This time by off of turn number 4. It will be Jack A. Clements to take the white flag here for stage number 2. He is loving the battling behind him right now for the second, third, and fourth. This is just giving him a little bit more gap and a little bit more advantage over the rest of the field. As Matthew O'Brien really loose off turn 2. He's going to hard the outside wall. He collects Josh Adams,
Around he
and they'll
goes.
bring up the yellow.
Wow, one of the fastest drivers tonight involved in the 4th caution of the night as well. Wow. Not sure how badly damaged he is. His right front looks pretty bad, but slightly crunkled up. But I don't think it's. I definitely think it's fixable. I mean, no. It's really hard to say with how this aero package is here in these next gen cars. Yeah, just got loose, and
Josh Adams gets the tag.
John Osborne as well.
He may get pretty lucky there. He didn't get hit by anyone. He may get a little lucky that maybe he didn't get that much wheel damage out of that. Probably did get a little bit. Maybe couldn't try and ditch the car over the rest of this race. But under yellow, Jack Clemens does win stage number 2. But also, that kind of gives everyone a moment here. This is some tire strategy play out.
As everyone coming down pit lane pretty much other than Jack Clemens. So, not sure if Clemens, interesting call there, but everyone comes down pit lane. Wow.
So everyone wants some fresh tires. Only about 8 laps on tires though, so we thought the tire advantage would have been a little bit better, clean air, but we'll see how that plays out. Only about 8 lap difference on tires, and these drivers, they did have 5 sets, so 4 additional sets, and they already used 1 during that green flag cycle. So that means that everyone else will be down to about 3 sets here, with still half the race to go. So everyone's pretty.
Yeah, you should be pretty good. Yeah, pretty solid.
Well, actually, no, they're gonna have 2 sets left for the half of this race because they start with 4 additional. So
still should be plenty.
So that's about 60, 30 laps on each set.
Yeah, so.
And that's not including the one they just put on. So probably it's
20.
probably about 23 laps on a set. But Chicagoland, as I did mention earlier, kind of older racetrack. We haven't seen it on the real life schedule and in a while. And it was also kind of getting older pavement, so this can eat up tires pretty quickly. But Jackie Clemens, the only driver staying out of the racetrack, is the driver behind him trying to get maybe in the lap car trying to get his lap back. Stay on the racetrack there. Looks like just from that incident, Matthew O'Brien has disconnected, so his night will be over after that wreck there. So unfortunate there for Matthew O'Brien.
Yeah,
but now Jackie
for
Clemens
tonight.
on about 8 lap older tires. We'll see how well it will hold on for him. With Jackie Clemens, with the rest of the field on fresher tires behind him. Green flag back in the air here on lap number 68. Also a good launch on the restart there, as now Kisswither and Taub will fight for side-by-side behind him. This time that will be 60 laps to go here in this race, so everyone's going to have 1 stop left. We'll see how well the new tires will work out for the rest of the field compared to Clemens. Clemens has the clean air. He's got Mark Kisswither right behind him. Gave it a hurry there in third. I'm shocked we didn't really see much of a split strategy there. Pretty much everyone came down pit road. Especially after about only 8 laps, you expect to see a little bit more split strategy. But right now, it's working well for Clemens, but just when they're putting that pressure on that back bumper of that 20 machine.
Yeah, I mean, everyone came out pit lane. Only one driver stayed out, which is Jack Clemens out in front currently. So, not even, yeah, I'm kind of surprised it wasn't more like 30%, 70% type of thing. It was pretty much 99 to 1% decision there. But here comes kissing one to the inside of Clemens, side by side in turn 1. So they're most likely a slide drop it in there in the turn 1 off the turn 2, and yes, he will. He'll clear easily down the back straight away.
So this allows Clemens, though, he can do a little bit of undercut strategy as well with this.
Yeah.
As he, though earlier he did stay out a little bit longer, so it's going to be kind of the opposite strategy of what he was doing in that first run. And that first run staying out longer ended up helping him out in the long run. So right now he's still sitting second. He's running back outside the top 10 for that whole first run. Right now holds on to second. It's not being pulled away from the rest of the field. As now Todd and Jorgensen are still trying to fight for fourth. The Steiner trying to find his way through. Now Evans trying to get to the inside of Jonathan Parker. Now Clemens able to stay in second. So a lot of these drivers are they're taking a little bit calm right now. Two battles outside, kind of just inside the top 10. As Evans tries to clear up in front of Evans, as he will, Evans tries to clear up in front of Parker, as he will be able to do that. But Parker will fight back on the inside through 3 and 4. Stay side by side through 3 is Parker on the bottom. Evans able to get the run off the corner. Fighting the bottom a little bit. Evans on the top lane, able to get the run off the corner. He will clear for that spot. So Evans looks like he's kind of solidified that position for now, at least for that 7th place spot. He moves back down to the bottom. You're going to be inside of Cole Steiner here. Actually, Cole Steiner really slow on the top lane a little bit compared to Evans on the bottom. He's going to allow him to get to the long side. So now Evans side by side with Steiner for that 6th place spot. A little bit of contact down to the turn number 1 though, as they door bang a little bit. Evans on the bottom, still stays alongside Cole Snyder. So right now Evans able to clear in, not able to clear Snyder, but he's now under attack from Jonathan Parker once again. He will clear as now Jackie Clemens though back up front, trying to work back on Mark Kisma a little bit.
Yeah, I thought his tires might be a little bit worse than the rest of the field, but he's doing a good job just hanging there in 2nd place currently and not really letting Kisma to get away from him too much very early in the run.
Alright, it looks like everyone's kind of been a lot calmer here in this run here compared to what we saw in the first run for those pit stops.
Clemens got very loose there off the turn 2. They kept it straight there on the back straightaway.
Starting to open up a little bit for the top 3 once again. Now Jordan Meyer trying to hold off Todd for that 3rd place spot. As Todd's been working the outside lane for this whole race, a whole run here, trying to get by Jorgensmeyer. As off at turn number 2, Todd stays alongside. They'll stay side by side down the straightaway, and Todd's actually been clearing the 3, but he'll stay up to the top lane. Trying to manage the run here for 3 and 4. It looks like Todd will hold on. He'll take that 4th place spot away, but also Parker was able to get by Evans for that 7th place spot again. Looks like Evans may got a little bit loose. He just lost that a little bit more time as well. So multiple drivers using multiple different lanes here. So Meanwhile, the top 8 kind of staying nice and calm right now. Not really too much happening so far. These drivers just running their lines, trying to get them cleaner and save their tires where they can. They try to maybe pass each other later in this run. You still have one green flag stop to go. So if you stay green, you still have one more pit stop left. Driver, no one can make it on fuel at the end here. About 45 to 50 to go is when that window will open. Actually, that is now, so it just opened now. You're now just under 50 laps to go exactly right here. So fuel window is open right now. Maybe just a few more laps will be more confidently and safely open. About 5 more laps or so. Clemens, he is fighting back on Mark Kiswither here, especially with Clemens on the 8-lap older tires.
Clemens losing it. What a save.
Clemens losing it there from second, and that's going to cost him a lot of time as he was really doing well on those older tires, but now he's going to be mired all the way back in traffic. This falls all the way back behind Jurgensmeyer.
Wow.
Clemens now trying to fight with Jonathan Parker here now as that big mistake that's going to cost him a lot of time. That allows Gabe Hari to maybe set his sights on Kiswither, but they're not too far in front of the rest of the field right now. As Tom's still taking the outside lane, we'll see how Tom, if he can, he'll fall off kind of like Klein did in that first run, because Tom has been on the outside lane pretty much this whole run. See how that plays out for him, but now Evan is trying to work from Jack and Clemens down the bottom. Identical looking race cars right there as the both blue machines there on the down the front straightaway. Down into turn number 1. Clemens will stay in front of Evans. But though up in front, Hari is hunting down that back bumper. Mark Kiswither. Keep in mind, Mark Kiswither tonight did not set a qualifying set a 50-second qualifying lap. Started in the back, got a yellow during that first run, and he was able to play out perfectly. Now Mark Kiswither from last the first challenge right now as he has the big moment there with Gabe Hari. Hari was on the inside off 4, but Hari got a little bit loose and allowed Kiswither to pull away by a couple of car lengths. But Kiswither right now, the last from the back to the front right now. Each of their biggest mover can't get any more than what he's got right now. But Mark Kiswither looking strong here, kind of getting later and later into this run. His fuel window is safely open now. We haven't seen anyone come down pit road just yet. We're starting to see some of the separation from these drivers on older tires and newer tires. You also start to see, as well, the track getting a lot darker as you see the rubber getting laid out on the racetrack. That can change a big factor of how this racetrack will handle. Let's take a look at our weather currently right now while we kind of have this moment, as really kind of want to look at the track temperature. The track temperature in practice was up to 118 and it's now dropped to 109. So it's really dropped a lot. So once these drivers have since practiced and also from the race, so it's dropping throughout the day here as well. So getting later into the day, 344 in the sim as your 109-degree track temp with the air temp there. Currently being 83 degrees and kind of a 6-mile-per-hour wind, so not too aggressive of a wind, but also partly cloudy skies. So that could also play a factor. We get a cloud that really could cool down the racetrack a little bit, and that could also make it a little bit grippier as well. The track is getting faster and colder a little bit throughout this race. It could play a factor here in this last run. Before we get to that last one. We have one green flag pit stop to go, and Kissweather out in the race lead, but Dahari cuts down to the bottom from the top lane behind him, and a really good move, cut under him, off through the center of 3 and 4. I was shocked he had the grip for that. It worked out well for Gable Dahari, as Dahari will take the race lead. And we'll see how Kissweather, how much he can fight back. We'll see if he can claw it back in a little bit later in this run here. We still have a while left to go. Still only about 20 laps in this run. So you'll probably get another 20 laps on fuel, roughly. You'll probably start to see some of these drivers maybe split at about 30 and 30, as we start with about 60 laps to go. So maybe start to see pit stops here, about 10 laps to maybe 15 laps. You'll start to see most of those pit stops start to happen. See this battle for race lead starting to continue a little bit as Kissweather fighting on the bottom. Dahari on the outside lane.
So we're slowing line now, though.
Now Kissweather go back to the top lane, so he did lose the lead, but he is not giving up on the fight. He's trying to fight back for the race lead right now. Back outside the top 5, got Jack Lemons, Cole Steiner, Nathan Lamont, Zach Amir, all battling for that top, the 7th place spot. That kind of calming down a little bit for the race lead. We also got Jurgensmeyer looking to the inside of Tom, trying to look there as well. But we're kind of seeing 2-car tandems kind of in a way right now. 2-car little packs separated. And then you have the big main pack pretty much back out there at 7th on back with the 4 or 5 cars battling for that one spot. Jurgensmeyer now fighting the inside of Kyle Tom for the 3rd place spot. Jurgensmeyer will take that spot away. He'll clear up in front, but now Kissweather going for the race lead. He got a really good run off of turn 2. And now Mark Kissweather side by side. He clears into 3. Dahari shows the fight back on the bottom. Dahari not going to be able to do it though. Down the front straightaway. Dahari, the race leader. Dahari trying to shake the race lead back as Kissweather the race leader, but he gets a little bit loose through the center 2. He's going to hold on to it, but allows Dahari right back to the back bumper. These two have been fighting the past 10 or 5 or so laps here for this race lead. We also got Kyle Zob, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. They're fighting for 3rd behind, and then that's actually allowing Jonathan Parker, Jonathan Evans close to that top 3. This could become a 6-car battle for this race lead here in a few, in a little bit if these drivers keep battling. So Dahari trying to fight back to the bottom. Depending on how they're fighting, this could really hurt their tires. Kissweather lost those a little bit through the center. You go up the racetrack, well, Dahari down to the bottom.
Side by side.
Stay side by side down through turn 3 as Dahari is driving in deep. Try and slide up in front of Kissweather. Let's get to Kissweather at the dirty air. Off the exit of 4.
Ooh, I was close to Kissweather off of 4 there. He keeps it off the wall.
But just behind them, you got Jonathan Parker now. He's shown up to the battle for that 3rd and 4th place spot as he's now working to the inside of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, trying to take that 4th spot away. But meanwhile, right behind him is Jonathan Evans with a good run off turn 2. He dives to the bottom, trying to take the spot away from Parker. And now you have a 4-way battle for this 3rd place spot. Now is Jurgensmeyer trying to fight to the inside of Tom, but Tom has been on the outside lane pretty much this whole run. I saw that happen with Giovanni Klein, and Klein really starting to fall off after about 20 or so laps. But Tom able to hold on a little bit right now, this time in this part of the run. Tom able a little bit better on the top lane compared to Klein, but now Dahari going back for the lead on Kissweather. Dahari bats to the bottom, but we're seeing battles throughout many different packs on this racetrack right now. It's Dahari fighting back on the bottom. Now more of the battling is going to help. This is going to help the rest of the field behind catch up a little bit. Dahari fights on the inside of Mark Kissweather. Now we're a few laps. We're going to be about we're pretty much about halfway to what we went back green. So now will we see some pit stops going to happen? Some of these drivers start to split it in half. And this is where we're going to see a lot of different strategies start to play a factor. And we do already. Kyle Taub and Jonathan Parker, they're in that battle for that third place spot. They are both come down pit road. So that is going to shake up some strategies here. They're going to try and jump in front of the rest of the field right now. As the Hardy gets whether the more they fight, the more that's going to hurt them in this battle for in this strategy. So who will pull the trigger first out of these top two? They both still stay out of the racetrack here with 31 laps to go. Or 32 laps to go. 31 laps to go here. They actually started to pull away a little bit for the rest, so that those drivers pitting has slowed up the rest of the field. Is now another driver down pit road, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Moves Evans and Clemens up to third and fourth as these two still battle for the lead. This is not going to help them very much because now this will allow Parker, Taub, Jurgensmeyer, they're going to be able to jump the rest of the field. Jump these drivers for the race lead. As Jurgensmeyer just coming off pit road, Cole Steiner, can get by him. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer looked like a very slow stop.
Zergum's Kissware down pit lane. Gotta make sure you don't speed here. Most important pit stop of the night.
Also, you could see a two-tire strategy call. I think that's what we saw with Jurgensmeyer. Jurgensmeyer is actually way out in front of compared to Parker. So I think Jonathan Jurgensmeyer took 2 tires. You can see a 2-tire strategy call. Jonathan Evans down pit road. Mark Kissware as well. Hardy will stay out. Clemens will stay on the racetrack. Now, who will take 2 tires? So Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, 2-tire strategy call compared to everyone else before. There's a multiple cars go around. Cole Steiner around on the back straightaway. Collected a few others, and another caution in the middle of pit cycles is going to help again with Hari and Jack Clemens again.
Just those
but
Cole
tires.
Steiner
All but turn 2. It was spin again. But he collected a few others there. 3 cars went around off turn number 2.
And see, someone else got involved there. Not sure who it was. It was Amble. Hard luck for that 71. He's mostly out for the night as well.
As it was a 3-car incident off of turn number 2. Let's take a look at what happened. So right behind Cole Steiner, right behind John Osborne. John Osborne gets loose, tags the wall, and tags Cole Steiner and Hunter Senior, able to just barely avoid it there. Maybe got a little tag there, but 3 of those drivers going around, and John Osborne. See how
just those old tires, I think. Just old tires wearing out.
John Osborne got the inside wall a little bit, but doesn't look like he got too much damage. But Jack and Clemens staying out a little bit longer again, and that's going to give him it's going to give him another advantage. But Nathan Lamont actually got up to second there. Hari is the race leader, so it's going to be a little bit different as most of the field did not pit yet. But a lot of those drivers, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Jonathan Evans, Mark Kissenweather, Jonathan Parker. Well, Jonathan Parker, he will get his the free pass, but Kyle Taub, 5 of the drivers that are up front battling for that lead there are now going to be stuck at the tail end of the field. And we see track position be a factor, a big time factor. As Jack A. Clemens, he was kind of towards that top 10 early in that first run, got the yellow, and once he got back out front, he was able to hold up there pretty well. So now that's going to shake up a lot of track position here. Hunter Senior, Zachary Meredith. There you have John Osborne just getting involved in that one, but they're still up in front of the rest of the field. Now it's going to shake up a lot of things because now We saw some of these drivers working the top lane a big time, really working the outside lane and trying to just get as much track position as possible. But we're here now with 26 to go. We're going to restart with 25. We're not really going to see tires start to play a factor late in this one. I mean, it also could be another option where cautions breed cautions. We've seen it happen before. This can be a hectic finish here with 25 laps to go. Gabriel Hari, Nathan Lehman, Jack Clemens, John Osborne, and Dylan Chappell in the top 5. Pretty much 3 of those drivers we haven't really seen up front all night long. How the clean air of the track should help them out, and able to kind of dirty air block the rest of the field. The green flag back in the air. 25 to go. The Hari with a good launch with Clemens on the bottom, but Lehman not good on the outside lane as John Osborne really slow restart as he is getting eaten up behind. As he's falling all the way behind Giovanni Klein and Jonathan Parker. The good news is for Jonathan Parker, he got the free pass. He's a little bit farther up in front of the other drivers he pitted with. Josh Adams trying to work his way through. But Gabriel Hari takes the race lead. He's going to try and pull away and set sail. But the rest of the field fighting for every track, every position they can get. Dylan Chappell, Nathan Lehman, they are fighting for that 3rd place spot. Lehman working the outside lane side by side with Chappell as Lehman will rocket by on the outside lane. Hunter Sheeter trying to follow him through, but Chappell will clear it for that spot. As here we'll go back to the bottom. Wait, a caution out of the racetrack once again, and that brings out the yellow. Kind of start to see cautions, maybe cautions. Looks like John Osborne might be in it again. Heavy right front damage. Zachary Meredith
destroyed.
And another playoff driver with some issues. And he is going to be done as that right front tire is totally broken. As he enters tonight 4 points above the cut line. It looks like he got loose hard on the outside wall. John Osborne nowhere to go.
Yeah, just got loose on the entry to turn 3. Interesting. Just kind of interesting there. I just lost us. Kind of weird. But
But now let's just shake up a little bit more as now another heat cycle on these tires. You can see some pit strategy start to play a factor. Now Gabriel Hari, Jack Clemens will be 1 and 2 here. Don't really see them won't come down pit road. Track has just been a very big importance here tonight. These drivers just able to start up front and been able to stay up front really, or been able to somehow cycle their way up to the front with pit strategies. Have been able to stay up there. We saw Jack and Clemens, he stayed a little bit on the older tires, and everyone else came down pit road. And he was able to stay up front pretty much that whole run until he got loose. And fell back, lost about 5 spots. We'll see how well this is working out. Jonathan Parker, Mark Kissweather, there's some that were working up front. But also same with Mark Kissweather, he started towards the back. He struggled to get his way up through the top 10. He was really working strong, and then Mark Kissweather got that break with that yellow, and he stayed up front pretty much that entire second run, so he's going to have to work his way through the field. I mean, pretty much a lot of these drivers have a really good pace tonight. If they get that track position, they can hold on pretty well. And we see Mark Kissweather up front, Gabriel Nahari, Jonathan Parker, Jonathan Evans, Cole Snyder, Jonathan Bergeron, Kyle Taub. We saw Josh Adams up there a little bit. I mean, we saw a lot of, I mean, really feel like this race is kind of wide open. If anyone can kind of work their way up, get a yellow, maybe get a couple spots, get a caution, get a few more spots, get a caution, and work their way up to the top 5. I mean, I think anyone really has a shot at this race. We'll see how it goes, though, with 20 laps to go. The pace car is off once again. Back to the guy Carissa zone. It'll be Nahari on the lap pedal. Really good launch on the bottom. And Clemens with a mediocre launch on the top lane. He'll actually still pretty well, do pretty well compared to the rest of the field on the bottom. As Lehman, not really a good launch. It's now Hunter Sanders going to drive it in there through the middle, 3 wide. They're 3 wide, 3 deep as Donnie Kite goes around off turn number 2. Hard into the outside wall. Kyle Taub goes around as well. But a quick yellow comes out here.
And there's still green for now.
Actually, it's green, no yellow. And there's the caution.
There's the caution.
As Ron Osborne comes through. So shocked that wasn't a caution so late. I don't know what Iris was doing there. I don't know why that one kind of came out so late, but Johnny Kite hard into the outside wall, but they are 3 wide, 3 deep through that whole run, through the whole field there. Hunter Senior got loose and kind of weird accordion there. John Osborne kind of splitting him in the middle there actually kind of triggered that yellow. So
It'll be the 7th caution of the night here. And the 3 of them since lap 100. You kind of mentioned this before. Cautions, just green cautions here. And it'll be interesting to see. I don't think anyone else will probably pit here up front. I think track position is just too important.
Two drivers in the back coming out pit road.
Kyle Taub, Drogensmeyer, Snyder, and a few others I think fixing damage as well.
You'll see a lot of moves there being made, 3 wide moves, and a lot of aggression here late, and more heat cycles being put into these tires could make it a little bit different. We're really not going to see much. Start here with 16 to go, and now some of the drivers that we saw up front: Mark Kissweather, Jonathan Evans, Jonathan Parker, Mark Kissweather up to 6th, Evans up to 7th, and Parker up to 9th. Josh Adams as well, but if they can get a good launch, now what about Mark Kissweather? Nathan Lame on these restarts have not been getting as good of restarts as the race leaders, so just for us to try and hope Lame will get a good launch here on the top lane. restart here with 16 to go, and the aggression level is only going to get worse and worse here, higher and higher. We'll see how that plays out. The pace car will take that hard left turn onto pit road. Green flag back there. Good launch for the Hari. Not a good launch for Kissweather. That top lane, that's going to allow Evans and Chapel to push through on the bottom. Separates the top four just a tad. We're going to wreck around the back. Hunter Senior goes around. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Steven Maggio hardly outside the wall. Cole Snyder tags Sean Osborne. We stay green. No caution yet. As the Hari will clear for the lead. Clemens in second. They're fighting side by side between Lamont and Evans.
Still
There's
no
the caution.
There it is. What? I think what has happened on this restart there? I think someone blocked pretty aggressively on the initial on the restart there, and that kind of caused them all to stack up and go a little bit crazy there in the turn one. I think 4 or 5 cars involved in total.
A lot of stacking up here on this restart as you saw the outside stack up big time, but Kissweather
So
not going to get a good launch.
Divine Klein big block, and yeah.
And it came down and collected. Jurgensmeyer got loose, collects Steven Maggio. Hard hit for both of those drivers.
Just
John Osborne, he tagged as well.
Kind of an unnecessary block by Klein. I don't think Senior had a big enough of a run. Kind of, but just very aggressive.
Trying to cut back under, and then Jurgensmeyer was already there. He just cut down a little bit too much. Now John Osborne, after that one, he is done for the night. I believe Steve Maggio will probably be done. See, he had a quick injury. I think Maggio might be okay, but hit him there. Jurgensmeyer probably done with the night for that one as well. Jurgensmeyer took a hard hit. I would not be shocked if that tire is that toe link is broken. It is not, so he is going. He's still going to be in this race. Hunter Senior, he is done for us. His right front toe link is broken as all the damaged cars are rolling down pit road here. Cole Snyder, Hunter Senior, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Kyle Taub all getting a piece of that. Taub actually got a piece of the last one as well. So Mike Campbell will be our free pass as he'll go around the outside, but not much of a shake-up here on the top 5. He'll still beat the Hari, Clemens. Lamon will be third now instead of Adams, and Adams will line up 4th. Will be Chapel, Kissweather, Evans, Klein, Parker, for the rest of the top 9. Actually, everyone else down pit road. So we're pretty much, I think we're only down to about 9 undamaged cars here, as we're seeing a lot of the battle, a lot of the just desperation moves, a lot of aggression moves outside the top 10 are really taking a lot of that top 10 now.
Yeah, it hasn't really affected the top 5, I would say, but definitely kind of the mid-pack, backpack of the field, definitely being a lot more aggressive than probably the top 5, but currently right now we only have around 13 drivers on the lead lap on the racetrack. So, and of those 13, probably around 9 or 10 of them are clean, undamaged race cars, or minimal damage race cars, I should say. But Space Light should shut off this time. Yes, they will, as we're going green here with 12 laps to go here at Chicagoland. One driver just coming off the pit lane, and it's Jurgensmeyer in the 00 machine.
How that damage will affect him. You know, that will be a competitive car for the win anymore. You have to expect he got a really decent amount of wheel damage there, probably at least 4 minutes. At least need 2 of the yellows to get all that fixed, and then on top of that, have to work through the rest of the field. But restart here again with the pretty much the same top 6, top 7 as well. So. See how well it maybe who will kind of lack on this restart. We haven't really seen everyone get a nice even restart. There's always one person in this top 5 or so that does not get a good restart and has a risk of losing all their slots. But restart here with 12 to go. Look who will be able to work their way through the field. Clemens and Dahari will be all on the front row once again. Dari has full control. He's just hoping he doesn't go green. If he goes green, someone might have a chance to get him. A green flag back in the air. Dahari, who will clear for the, he's got a good launch, and everyone looks pretty even there on that restart. No one lacking on that restart there. Clemens will slot into second, Lehman with third as he fights side by side for third and fourth and fifth behind. As Adams, who will clear for that fourth place spot, he's going to try and go to the inside of Lehman. Dahari's going to kind of block the, try to fishtail down the back straightaway, trying to break the draft from Clemens. But now Adams drives it in deep, trying to get to the inside of Clemens now. He'll slot up in front of Lehman as now Evans fights back on the wild. 3 wide move for Evans on the bottom. Big move there on the bottom. He'll clear Lehman down the first straightaway. He'll slot back up the fourth.
As the top 3 kind of single file out, now the top 4. Here comes Lehman up to the top side. For 5th as here comes Kissman on the inside. Bit loose off of turn 2. There's 3 abreast there. Here comes Parker on the fresh tires here.
Jonathan Parker down on the bottom, trying to make a 3 wide move with Mark Kissman here. Nathan Lehman on the top lane. Stop 4. Liking what they're seeing right now. This is letting them pull away. Klein with a big run. He's going to the bottom. 4 wide for the move on the bottom. He'll go back to double file 2 deep, but Klein really loose on the apron. That's going to cost him a little bit more time. He's going to have to merge back on the racetrack. He's either really loose. Parker gets loose hard on the outside wall. Goes Jonathan Parker.
As I think his car completely destroyed down the right side.
There. Giovanni Klein's right in front of him. That brings it the yellow. But Jonathan Parker, our points leader. Heavy damage late in this one.
This kind of all started kind of right here going down the back straightaway in the turn 3 and 4, and on the front straightaway here. See Klein with a great launch off of turn 4, good run, and big blocks here from Parker, caps them both down. I'm not sure what happened to Parker there, as Klein just could not get back on the racetrack. Parker just got loose and hit the wall. And Klein he just never regained control of his race car, it seemed like.
Yeah, and wasn't able to save it. It's just the car kept weight shifting back.
The whole corner, he got on the apron initially, and he just never really got full 100% control of his race car. But what a chaotic race this has turned out to be in the last pretty much 28 laps of this one. Ever since we hit lap 100, we've had 5 cautions so far. We had 4 cautions in the first 100 laps.
Well, actually, I was a little bit of split strategy there. Lehman thought about coming down pit road. Some of these drivers up front taking pit road.
Going Chapel,
coming down pit road.
I mean, at this point,
it's really going to make much of a difference. We'll restart with under 5 to go, just over 5 to go. But now that puts Jonathan Evans up to the top 4. He's been fast all night long. Just never got the track position. Now he's got an opportunity to maybe try to steal this away. And he's also got Jack A. Clemens behind him. Oh, well, Jack A. Clemens in front of him. Maybe time this restart a little bit. If they can time this restart well, we may have a shot at Dahari. So with Adams trying to work as well, and maybe Dahari here on the bottom. Restart here will take the 1 to go signal with 7 to go. It's the 6-lap shootout here from Chicagoland. I think this is going to be a chaotic way to end this one. We've seen a lot of yellows.
Or been chaotic, I would say.
28 laps. Restart here with 6 laps to go. You see the two blue machines on that top lane. Teammates working together. Josh Adams, he had some Donnie Kite, his driver teammate, unfortunately being caught up in another incident. Cat doesn't have him to work with. This restarts could help out that top lane. Dahari and Adams on the bottom of the top lane. It will be Clemens and Evans. 6 laps to go here. Green flag back in the air. Dahari the good launch, but Evans with a good shove into the back bumper. Clemens able to get that outside lane moving a little bit better. Clemens not clear. Adams there in a 1 and 2. Adams going to the bottom. They're going to be 3 wide for a second. Almost for a second, but Lamont getting really loose on the back bumper of Kissenweather. But Evans with a good run down the back straightaway. He's going to clear Adams for 3rd. Now does Clemens, does he have anything for Dahari? This time by will be 5 laps to go here from Chicagoland. And Dahari has is clear for the lead, has a few car length gap. This could allow him to kind of play this dirty air a little bit. Has the clean air advantage, but Clemens goes down the apron.
Great run, Clemens.
Clemens going to go to the top lane, the dominant lane up on the outside, but Clemens looks a little tight up there. Evans a little bit farther back. He's side by side with Adams. 4 laps to go this time by. The fight for 3rd. And Clemens trying to close the gap down for the race lead. Adams and Jonathan Evans and Josh Adams fighting for that 3rd place spot. Mark Kisweather might have an opportunity to get by both of them here. Down to the 1 is the top 2 setting sail. Looks like Dahari playing the clean air game perfectly right now. As now Kisweather goes to the top lane of Josh Adams. Side by side for that 4th place spot. Adams fights on the bottom. Kisweather on the top lane. Evans right in front of both of them in the middle. They should maybe try and split that 26 machine, but not going to be able to get close enough. But this time by, it is 3 laps to go. It's looking like all Dahari out in front. Clemens just cannot get within about 3/4 tenths of a second. The dirty air just too strong. Dahari holds the lead. Adams will hold on to 4th. I guess we're going to try and dive it back to the bottom. Let's say side by side, trying to steal that 4th place spot away. Two laps to go. And Dahari, he dominated last week at New Hampshire and was able to get the win. It's been a little bit up and down. He got a really good qualified in 6th tonight. This time by will take the white flag in the lead one more time around. The game of Dahari looking to go back to back. Got caught out with an unfortunate yellow through pit cycles. Got to work his way back up front through the field. Got another yellow during pit cycles that kept him up front. He had to fight through all the chaotic restarts in the final 28 laps of this race. But Gabriel Dahari through 3 and 4 with about a half a second lead off of turn 4. Gabriel Dahari, he's going to go back-to-back. He'll win at Chicagoland.
Massive wreck behind. Mark Kisweather blown up. Giovanni Klein destroyed. And a few others as well. Then Kyle Todd destroyed as well as chaos off of turn 4.
There's a start of a big battle there for 4th between Kisweather and Kisweather and Adams. Let's take a look at this one. Kisweather was a little bit farther back. It looks like he got really loose off turn 2 here on the white flag. As down into turn number 3, Kisweather gets loose on the even hard overcorrect, collects Tile Top. Massive wreck. Got a spin like a top there. Well. Hits Lamont actually straight in the back out and flying in there. But up front it was Gabriel Dahari able to go back to back as he burns it down. Celebrates here from Chicagoland. A great performance from Gabriel Dahari. I joined later in the season. Wasn't one of our not one of our playoff contenders, but see if he's been very dominant up front, week in and week out since he's joined the Cup Series here. shows up next season. He might be a threat for that Season 7 championship. Gabe Ari, second win on the season. Back-to-back wins. Our top playoff driver tonight, Josh Adams. He enters tonight 4th in points. He will exit tonight. He finishes 4th tonight. He will no doubt jump Mark Tisweather, as he was tied with Mark Tisweather. Well, actually, 13 points behind Kyle Taub, as Kyle Taub and Mark Tisweather 8th and 9th, so he might be able to close that gap down a little bit to Mark Tisweather, Kyle Taub. Kyle Taub, he'll no doubt he will jump Mark Tisweather if we get an extra point there. But Gabe Ari, he'll burn it down for his 2nd win of the season. And back-to-back weeks. We'll be right back here from Chicago, and we'll be right back with our post-race interviews.
Is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
At NJBDesigns.com, we specialize in transforming your vehicle into a work of art by revolutionizing the way you see your car with the hottest trends in sim racing. Choose from a wide range of colors, textures, finishes to promote your business and sponsors in style. Whether you're looking to add a sleek matte finish, a flashy chrome accent, or a custom design that turns heads, our designers have you covered. If you want to stand out in the crowd, visit njbdesigns.com today and let our team of professionals transform your vision into reality.
Welcome back here to Chicagoland as you just wrapped up race number 2 of the playoffs here for the NAOR Cup Series season. Before we get to our post-race news, let's take a quick look at tonight's results here from Chicagoland. Up front, it was Gabe Hari able to hold off in that final 6-lap charge to finish over Jack A. Clemens. Jonathan W. Evans finishing there in 3rd. Josh Adams finishing in 4th, which is Cole Snyder in 5th. Dylan Chappell in 6th. Jonathan Burgard rounds out 7th. Kyle Taub in 8th. Mark Kisweather in 9th. And Johnny Klein running at the top 10. Finishes 11th tonight is the 14 of Nathan Lamont, and Jonathan Barker points at tonight, not having the night he hoped for, finishing 12th tonight, but he's still going to be pretty solid above that cut line. Hunter Sr. finishing 13th tonight, Steve Madger 14th, John Osborne 15th, Mike Campbell in 16th, Donnie Kite in 17th, Zach Ramirez in 18th, Matthew O'Brien in 19th, and Chase McGuire and rounding out the top 20, rounding out the 21 car field here tonight was the 22 of Josh Arnold. So a really unfortunate night for Josh Arnold. He's going to have to go back next week at the Gateway Road Course and really try make up a lot of his gap back up, but we'll catch up. We'll go down to Pizza and Wings Gaming Victory Lane for the 2nd week in a row. Gabe Hari able to take the win and just kind of talk us through how your race went. You were able to dominate last week. Tonight, you had a little bit different strategies to work through, but you were able to work your way up there late. Just kind of talk us through your race and how do you think it went in your eyes?
Yeah, from right from the beginning, the strategy was just to try and save tire because here it was really loose compared to how Chicagoland has usually been. So I felt like that was going to be very important, and it proved to be important at the end of that first run. Whenever I managed to work my way up to Matthew, and me and him were battling for a bit, going back and forth. But yeah, the dirty air and the air packing was definitely a big factor as well. So it was a really good mix of track position importance and passability, and it was just really fun for that race.
And you mentioned the dirty air there late, and those last 20 or so laps, it came down to a lot of cautions and kind of holding off and just trying to hold your track position there. So kind of just talk us through that final 20 lap run, and just what do you think how are you able to kind of block the rest of the field off there and hold everybody off?
Yeah, I was really worried because if all I had to do really was clear into turn one, there's just nothing you can do against the dirty air, really. That's basically what won me the race. If the dirty air was less strong, then I think Clemens would have been able to get up to me, probably air pack me, and that would have been a whole different story. But yeah, it comes down to just clearing and hitting the guy behind you with dirty air for a lot of these next gen races.
You're able to, even though you're able to hold everybody off and pick up your second win in back-to-back weeks here. Before we send off, want to make any sponsor living for tonight's race win? No
sponsors, but I'd like to give a shout out to Matthew O'Brien. He was in my voice chat. Sucks for him what happened. Shout out Steven Maggio. He was also in my voice chat. Wrecked lap 1, spent over 100 laps fixing his car, and the second it was repaired, he got a meatball. So yeah, shout out those guys. Shout out the guys who run the server and the league for putting the show on, and shout out to you guys for broadcasting.
Once again, congrats on your race win. We'll see you next week at the Gateway Road Course.
Thank you. Have a good one.
So as our race winner for the second week in a row, Gabriel Zoharia will bring in our second place finisher of Jack A. Clemens. A solid run here tonight. Last week, you able to have another solid run last week. And tonight, you're able to pick it up a second place finish there. But the battle's all the way through the final run of that, kind of through that final 28 laps or so. But what got you there up front? Kind of late, kind of earlier up into the race. You stayed a little bit longer, stayed at overcut. You also did it in the second run. So just kind of talk us through your strategy, game plans throughout that race and those first green flag runs.
Yeah, well, at least for me, it was like really hard to pass. So I decided on that second caution of the race, I topped off on fuel, and I knew it was gonna give me that little 7 or 8 lap window where I could stay out and just hope to draw yellow, then get track position back, and then luckily it fell. Then it ended up falling again in the next pit cycle. So I was able to get up front, and once I got into clean air, I was able to hold it a lot better. I didn't really have much for Gabriel though, but yeah, definitely the clean air was very helpful, and obviously got kind of chaotic at the end with all the yellows, but we had that nice 10 lap run to end the race.
Yeah, you got that track position up there with those pit strategy calls. You're able to stay up front through that final chaotic kind of last 30 laps. But what do you think you could have done differently there in those last 5 or so laps where you start trying to get by Dahari there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what else. He was just really fast. I mean, I just basically tried to run whatever line he wasn't running. On the first corner of the final restart, I think I had a shot, but I just pushed really tight out of 2. But after that, he was just gapping me. And even when I was, getting clean air to my nose, he was clearly better on the short run, fire off on the restarts. But no, overall, that was really, really fun.
They're still able to pick up a solid second place finish here tonight. But before it's enough for any sponsor looking for tonight's second place run.
Just want to shout out the Commonwealth crew. That's about it. Thank you guys for broadcasting.
And once again, congrats on your second place finish. We'll see you next week at the Gateway Road Course.
Thank you.
So it's the second place finisher of Jack Clemens. We'll bring in our third place finisher of Jonathan W. Evans, the other Blues and machine out there on the racetrack tonight. But tonight you were up and down as well. Kind of you were in towards the back of the field in the track position, got up front. and then pitted, and then unfortunately got the cautions at wrong times again. So just kind of talk us through kind of those strategy calls you're trying to make there, and just kind of how that tire was playing out as well.
Oh man, I was up and down like a damn pogo stick this race. Strategy, I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest. Like my whole like goal going into this race was just not to piss anybody off, because I know that it's like the middle of the playoffs and everything. So yeah, I was just kind of like figuring it out, staying in my own lane in the first stint. I managed to save pretty well, but it's just so difficult to pass when you get stuck side by side with somebody. You lose so much time each lap. So it was such a track position dominant race, and I never like got the track position or solidified it, because every single time I got through and I got towards the front, I would pit and then there would be a caution. So yeah, it was super duper frustrating for me, but we got there in the end. Those last few restarts, it was just, drive the car as hard as you possibly can and hope you can find clean air. And I mean, P3 after that day, I'll take it. I feel very satisfied with that result.
Yeah, especially those final 30 or so laps, you got caught out with that bad strategy, but you had to work your way through the field there late. Just kind of talk us through how you're able to drive your way through the field on all those hectic restarts, and you think they're differently there maybe late to try and steal the race win away.
I don't know. I don't know if there's much I could have done differently to try to get the win, because Jack, Gabe, we were all so even short run, and I don't have the most confidence in this car in order to feel like I could have gotten up there and had any shot to win. But I mean, basically at the end, I was just sending it and trying to pick my lanes. I was able to make the middle work very well, better than most. And if you can just get your nose in clean air, you just have so much grip. So it's just searching for the clean air and trying to pick the right lanes and avoid the carnage. But I do have to apologize to the 81 though, because like first few laps of the race, I didn't realize we were like offset 3 wide coming off the corner, and I took a natural arc off and I kind of just got into him a little bit. So I apologize for that. I hold my hand up, but yeah, that's about it.
Even though through your up and down night as well, just getting caught up in unfortunate on the unfortunate side of those strategies, you're still able to pick up a very solid third place run in your debut start here tonight. But before you stand in front of me, any sponsors they think for tonight's third place run?
No, not really. Just appreciate the admins, letting me come out. It's very difficult for me to find leagues nowadays that'll let me in and let me race. So huge shout out to them, and they got me in on very short notice. So I do appreciate them. I appreciate you, Aaron, of course. Great commentator. Jack, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you, guys.
Once again, congrats on your third place finish. We'll see you next week at the Gateway Road Course. So that was our third place finisher of Jonathan Evans here tonight, and wraps up our show and wraps up this race. It's definitely a hectic race. We saw a lot of different tire strategies. You saw a lot of different battling throughout those green flag runs. But kind of late, we saw a lot of different yellows kind of shower that last little bit. And made a lot of hectic restarts, and luckily we did get that nice solid 6-lap run to the finish. You saw Gabe and Murray able to go back to back once again. But kind of our second style of racetrack here in this playoffs. Since last week we went to New Hampshire, a short track, and we go to the 1.5 miles, and now next week we turn our focus to next week to the Gateway Road Course. So that'll definitely be a very interesting, kind of unique race. We've never really seen any stock cars on the Gateway Road Course ever before, so we'll kind of see how that plays out next week. And also for the cutoff race of this round of 12, we'll cut it down to 8. And that in the round of 8 also its own starts off with the kind of wild card of Talladega. So it's definitely gonna be a wild 2 weeks here. Here coming up next in this final 2 weeks, but the Gateway Road Course next week will definitely be a kind of another wild card race possible.
Yeah, just honestly don't know really know the layout too well of Gateway Road Course, and I believe it's our first ever Gateway broadcast, and it's at the road course as well. So That's something different, I would say, but definitely kind of a wild card there, and points really shaping up here to the end of round of 1, and it's gonna be interesting to see how this all shapes out. A very, very unique road course in Madison, Illinois.
It'll definitely be a fun one next week at the Charlotte Road Course. But before we get there next week, coming up next here on the Legends Racing Network, we're now kind of made it through our September, just in our we'll have the Superstar ARCA Cup East Series this coming Wednesday. They'll be at Daytona 8 p.m. Eastern Time for their season opener for the Superstar ARCA Cup East Series. And next we'll have next Friday we'll have the Inter Cup Series at the Gateway Road Course at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The week after that, the Gateway Road Course, we'll have the Superstar Cup East back on Wednesday, but we'll also have the Quantum Contender Series back on Thursday, also formerly known as the Undisputed Cup Series. So they'll be coming back up here in about 2 weeks' time. So next week we'll have the Superstar Cup East at Daytona and the Gateway Road Course here for the Inter Cup Series season as they round out the round of 12. But so long here from Chicagoland, I'm Aaron Brown, alongside my co-commentator and producer tonight of Talent Drake. So long here from Chicagoland. We'll see you next time in the Legends Racing Network.